154, how much stronger are you feeling? How much better are you feeling at 54?
I feel great. I feel strong. I feel motivated. You know, I'm just ready to go out here and do my thing. I'm not overlooking anybody right now or even worried about anybody.
Terence Crawford has sent a terrifying warning to Canelo Alvarez, creating significant buzz in the boxing realm. Crawford has built a career out of taking the unconventional route, unwavering in his belief in himself, even in the face of doubt from others. Be it journeying overseas to claim his inaugural belt against what he considers his toughest rival to date, dominating the 140-pound category, or effortlessly conquering the skilled welterweight division.
Oh, we don't know. You know, we know he's capable of a lot of things, but you know, we're not going to overlook anything, and that's why we prepare the way we prepare and focus on him the way we focused on him.
The bigger guys training for this, how's that felt?
You said a
sparring,
bigger?
sparring the bigger guys.
Oh, I always spar bigger guys.
Rewind to that pivotal moment in his Nebraska gym exactly 1 year ago this week, where Crawford, driven by the prospect of a historic clash, was training intensely for his shot at dethroning the undefeated three-belt champion, Errol Spence Jr. Crawford was drenched in sweat. His trainer Brian Bomac McIntyre recalls, and let out a defining and accurate prediction. "I'm gonna him up, bro." Observe the unfolding of events. The fiercely talented Crawford, after a mere moment's assessment of Spence, unleashed a torrent of refined tactics and powerful strikes. This onslaught floored the determined Texan thrice, culminating in Crawford's decisive victory by 9th-round technical knockout. "Spence still ain't fought," Crawford noted in a recent All the Smoke fight conversation with Andre Ward, the Hall of Fame two-division champion. A man of his word is something to be respected, if there is anything. Terence Crawford is that. The unwavering three-division champion has swiftly captured the respect of Saudi Arabia's influential sports magnate, Turki Alalshikh. In recognition of his prowess, Crawford has been headlined on this stellar lineup set to electrify BMO Stadium in Los Angeles this Saturday night. Crawford has been named an ambassador for the Riyadh season of Alalshikh. In a dynamic exchange of respect, Crawford commends Alalshikh's strategic prowess in dismantling promotional and broadcasting barriers to create premier boxing matches. Alalshikh's ability to orchestrate undisputed showdowns has already been demonstrated and promises to continue delivering thrilling encounters. "The money's going to be right. You're going to fight him," Crawford said to Ward in speaking about the potential code Alalshikh is moving toward bringing the sport under one umbrella. He added, "They've got money to blow. The money is nothing to them. They're doing this for y'all, the people who want to see these two high-class fighters fight." In his debut bout as a junior middleweight, Crawford isn't wasting any time. He set his sights on the World Boxing Association's fresh title holder, Israil Madrimov from Uzbekistan, ready to make an immediate impact. McIntyre told Boxing Scene at Tuesday's grand arrivals on the Santa Monica Pier, "Crawford is a tough guy, and he wants that 154 title. He wants to continually push himself to the next level, and Madrimov is one of the guys that's in the way. Crawford doesn't need to prove anything to me. I already know what Bud can do, but watch him prove something to the world. Watch him." A win would elevate Crawford to the ranks of a four-division champion, placing him among the elite few. This achievement would align him with Mexico's Saul Canelo Alvarez, another active fighter who has long vied with Crawford for the title of pound-for-pound supremacy. Alalshikh is orchestrating a potential showdown between Crawford and Alvarez, contingent on two key victories. Crawford must triumph over Madrimov, and Alvarez needs to defend his unified super middleweight titles against the formidable underdog Edgar Berlanga on September 14th. Although Crawford clearly appreciates the financial boost from his partnership with Alalshikh, those closest to him know that it's not just about the money. The fighter's drive is equally fueled by the legacy he aims to leave behind, making this match a pivotal moment in his career.
Terence Crawford, his name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance?
You know, I always say if the fight make sense, why not? But he's not in the plan.
He's not in the plan?
No.
Okay. Is there a specific reason for it? Is it because of his size, or it won't do anything for you in terms of pushing you toward your goals?
You know, like I say, it makes sense maybe. I don't know right now. I just gonna enjoy this fight, and please let me enjoy this fight. And then you're gonna know what is what is next?
McIntyre explained to Boxing Scene that Crawford's ambition to face Alvarez stems more from his inner determination than from the financial rewards. Crawford, who has taken a year off following the Spence victory, is well rested, according to his trainer, and he is ready to speak up once more, similar to the time he revealed Spence's impending demise. Boxing's 2023 Trainer of the Year McIntyre believes his fighter can understand the Canelo battle. He can do it, McIntyre said. Few people know boxing like Crawford does. Trust him when he says he sees something. A promoter with prior experience working with Crawford is aware of this. You need to remember, Canelo was a champion first at 154, and he's never really gotten all that much bigger. I still see him as a 154 pounder who's added on the weight, the promoter said. If Crawford demonstrates that he can handle the additional 7 pounds with skill and decisively beat Madrimov on Saturday, he's ready to challenge himself further by adding another 14 pounds to determine who truly reigns as the greatest fighter of their era. McIntyre said, that's how he is. He has to know. He wants to press to that next level. Always. Hall of Fame broadcaster. Jim Lampley has been envisioning Crawford Alvarez since last year. He said, it's a fight that can happen because Terence is an innately competitive human being, always looking for ways to test himself while looking for ways to feel belittled if people don't give him his proper credit. Lampley added, I'm sure he took notice of those who picked Spence. He has an extremely competitive arrogance in that he's bothered and offended by thoughts that anyone can beat him. Former HBO commentator Jim Lampley lauds Terence Crawford as the quintessential fighter of the HBO era. During this period, Lampley observed Crawford's promoter, Top Rank, catapulting other fighters to the prominence that Crawford himself rightfully deserved. Lampley witnesses the warrior use that slight and others to gather all the motivation he needs. He wants to prove the people who underestimated him wrong, Lampley said. While he never earned the title of U.S. Olympian, Crawford and his team embraced the grueling grind of training in the heart of America. Through relentless effort, they forged him into a double-fisted powerhouse, renowned for his unyielding resolve and one of the most formidable winning streaks of his era. Lampley said, I haven't spoken to him about this. This is an educated guess, but I feel he's learned this is a business. He's in there to fight, to hurt the other guy and get out. If Crawford pulls off that same feat on Saturday, he'll be staring straight into the eyes of the redhead, who's been his rival for pound-for-pound dominance for nearly a decade. McIntyre said, if the opportunity presents himself, he's going to fight Alvarez. I know Terence. He likes those challenges. Is Crawford going to defeat Canelo? The trainer stated that both he and Crawford think Alalshikh will put effort into the fight. If it comes on the table and it's there, it's a possibility, McIntyre said. However, Lampley said, at the end of the day, it's up to Canelo. To me, Terence Crawford is the knower 1 pound for pound fighter in the world, but Canelo is the no $1 for dollar fighter, which is most important. When you're trying to exercise what you want, it's best to be the no $1 for dollar fighter. But Terence Crawford has boldly stated that if he emerges victorious against WBA light middleweight world champion Israil Madrimov, his next move would be to ascend 2 weight classes and take on Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds. Would Madrimov be prepared to do the same to face Alvarez if he were to pull off the upset over Crawford? Absolutely, in a word. Madrimov told Seconds Out through an interpreter, we don't want to overlook anyone, so we're fully concentrated on this one, but I wouldn't mind Canelo Madrimov. He also added to Fight Hub TV, right now, my focus is Crawford fight, but after that, we will see. If they're going to offer for me to fight Canelo, I'm willing to consider. I'm willing to do that because after this fight, the biggest fights are of my interest if I win. Furthermore, Madrimov is somewhat acquainted with Alvarez, having assisted Dmitry Bivol in his preparation to decisively defeat the boxing icon in May 2022 via unanimous decision. Madrimov said, if the fight happens, then we'll start working on him in detail and start figuring that out. His Excellency Turki Alalshikh has announced plans to extend a proposal to Canelo Alvarez, aiming to arrange a bout against Terence Crawford. Alalshikh is determined to provide Crawford with a significant fight and assures Canelo will be offered a fair price for the match. The mention of a fair prize seems less than encouraging. Canelo knows that Tyson Fury, who's seen better days, pocketed over $100 million for his bout with Alexander Usyk last May in Saudi Arabia. With a rematch slated for December 21st, Fury is anticipated to earn an even heftier sum. Fury appeared out of shape and underwhelming after his defeat to Usyk last May, and he certainly didn't earn the hefty paycheck he received. If Fury can rake in such an enormous sum while looking as lackluster as he did, Canelo should be commanding twice that amount, somewhere around $200 million. Canelo has little interest in this bout, and it's easy to understand why. Facing a 37-year-old welterweight who is stepping up 2 weight classes after just 1 fight at 154 doesn't exactly enhance Canelo's legacy. Turki said to ESPN, I will give Canelo what I think is a fair price. If he accepts it, he deals directly with me to finish the deal. I don't want anyone in the middle. I guaranteed Crawford a big fight. I want Canelo for Crawford and Crawford wants Canelo. But if Canelo is crazy with his financial demands, I will still guarantee Crawford any fight he wants. Crawford is in this bout for more than just the thrill of the fight. He's eyeing a substantial payday to pad his retirement and hoping for a stroke of luck with an upset victory. Regardless of the outcome, Crawford stands to gain significantly, while Canelo's reward is limited to the financial gain. If Turkey is prepared to offer Canelo over $100 million, similar to the amount Fury is set to receive for his bout with Usyk, it might catch his attention. However, Canelo could potentially demand $200 million, a figure that could be out of reach. The Canelo-Crawford bout might not capture the attention of casual boxing fans, as Crawford remains a relatively unknown name to many. Unlike his peers, he hasn't engaged in self-promotion throughout his career, keeping a low profile and flying under the radar. In his 16-year career, Crawford has only achieved success in one pay-per-view fight, and that was against Errol Spence. The success of that bout can be largely attributed to Spence's considerable popularity. Crawford essentially rode the coattails of Spence's fame, contributing little to the promotion of the event. Turkey anticipates Crawford emerging triumphant in his upcoming bout with WBA junior middleweight title holder Israil Madrimov on Saturday, August 3rd. Additionally, he expects WBA, WBC, WBO super middleweight champion Canelo to defend his title effectively against Edgar Berlanga on September 14th. Given their advanced age and the fact they are up against strong punchers, Crawford and Canelo may lose their upcoming matches.
I can't go down anymore. But like he say, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because everybody's gonna say it's too small, it's too small, it's too small, and then, he need to enjoy his fight.
Okay,
He deserves it. He deserves it. I like Spence, but I like Spence and all the respect for him and everything. But I knew. I think is the type of fight Terence Crawford fighter is different. 168, but like I say, like he say, nobody's gonna give me credit.
Turkey has yet to clarify whether he intends to move forward with his plan to stage a Canelo-Crawford bout even if either fighter suffers a defeat. A loss on either side could impact the appeal of the matchup significantly. As it stands, a Berlanga versus Madrimov showdown slated for early 2025 might be the likely alternative, though it's unlikely to generate much excitement. Alalshikh remains vague about the big fight he's promising Crawford if the dream match against Canelo doesn't materialize. Crawford lacks the ambition to step up to 175 pounds and face the formidable contenders in that division, where the real excitement lies for fans eager to see him in action. Crawford dismisses the idea of fighting Jaron "Boots" Ennis, claiming the bout offers no financial or legacy benefits. Since no one in the 154-pound division boasts more prominence than Ennis, Crawford would appear diminished if he opts for a fight against one of them. If Turkey is unable to secure a fight with Canelo, Crawford's options for a major bout are dwindling. He might have to opt for a more cautious choice, like facing Sebastian Fundora, to avoid the perilous challenge of moving up to 175 pounds and contending with Artur Beterbiev, David Benavidez, or Dmitry Bivol. Crawford turned his attention to the super middleweight title holder after defeating Errol Spence Jr. to win the welterweight title last year. In response, Canelo entirely disregarded confronting the inherently smaller man in his conversation with Box Azteca. He said, "No, I will never fight Crawford. People criticized me fighting Charlo because he was coming up in weight. So now imagine Crawford going from welterweight to 168 pounds. I have everything to lose and nothing to gain, because if I win, they'll say, oh, he was too small, and everything." The Mexican, though, stated in a more recent interview with Supreme Boxing that he is now open to fighting Bud for the correct amount of money. He said, "It depends on the money, but why not? In the end, he is a great fighter, Crawford, obviously 3 divisions lower, but as I have said to you, I have fought with people bigger than me, the same categories as me, shorter than me, older than me, younger than me. In the end, I was born to fight. I am here to fight with whoever, obviously with the terms that most suit me. If money is the key to making this fight a reality, fans might be in luck." As mentioned before, Turki Alalshikh, the driving force behind boxing in Saudi Arabia, has informed ESPN that he plans to secure the bout and will soon present Canelo with a fair price. At this stage of his career, Terence Crawford has achieved so much that transparency is almost expected. During a recent conversation about his upcoming fight with Israil Madrimov, his friendship with Shakur Stevenson, and the possibility of a rematch with Errol Spence Jr., Crawford was refreshingly candid. The momentum carried on into Monday when he joined Ariel Helwani on the MMA Show to revisit revisit some of the same topics. A major point of discussion surrounding Crawford is who his next opponent will be after the August 3rd bout with Madrimov. There are calls for him to challenge IBF champion Jaron "Boots" Ennis if he defeats Madrimov, a notion that the general public may have assumed far too hastily. The native of Philadelphia defeated David Avanesian via TKO earlier this month, and for the previous 6 months, he and his promoter, Eddie Hearn, have been criticizing Crawford. Crawford has always been known as a champion who faces all challengers head-on. However, at 36 years old, he's now prioritizing a showdown with fellow future Hall of Famer Canelo Alvarez over a fight with the rising star Ennis. Crawford stated that a bout between him and Canelo would happen at 168 pounds. Crawford said that at his current point, he is focused on the fight that makes the most sense to him, and that fight is not against Boots. He mentioned that a fight with Canelo would significantly enhance his legacy and his bank account. Crawford emphasized that when his boxing career is over, he wants to have a legacy that people will talk about for ages and a bank account that will last for a long time.
I'm looking at the fight that makes the most sense, and that's not Boots. Canelo is going to bring way more to my legacy, way more to my bank account, because at the end of the day, when boxing is done with, what will we have?
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a legacy that's something that people talk about for the ages. And not only that, I want to have a bank account that will last for ages as well. So
I don't blame you.
It is difficult to not appreciate and comprehend such a response. Crawford has accomplished everything in boxing to be unquestionably inducted into the Hall of Fame. Since he remains capable of competing at a world-class level and challenging champions, he wisely ensures that all risks are carefully calculated. Should Crawford demonstrate strength against Madrimov, he would likely be the favorite to defeat Ennis. However, this is also the kind of fight where a legendary champion could age overnight. Such a shift often occurs when someone like Crawford faces off against an undefeated rising star like Ennis. Crawford stands to earn a solid payday from defeating Ennis, but it's nothing compared to the potential earnings from a bout with Canelo. One could argue that Crawford and Canelo are the two most prominent fighters of the post-Floyd Mayweather era. Crawford has one of the greatest resumes in the history of the sport thanks to his 40-0 record, 31 KOs, and titles in 3 different weight divisions. Apart from mishaps involving Mayweather and Dimitri Bivol, Canelo remains unsolved. Although both Crawford and Canelo are getting older, they are still regarded as elite fighters, making this potential matchup one of the most significant traditional boxing events. When asked why he believes Madrimov can defeat a generational great like Crawford, Eddie Hearn explained that it comes down to timing. He stated that his role is to support Israil Madrimov, acknowledging that Madrimov is a significant underdog. Hearn pointed out that Madrimov possesses many of the qualities needed to compete, including technical skills, boxing IQ, strength, and durability. He noted that Madrimov is neither a non-puncher nor a weak 154 pounder and can technically match or come close to matching Crawford. However, he conceded that Crawford is a generational great. Hearn said, "That's why he is heavily favored in this fight. I think ideally you would have probably wanted 2 or 3 more fights for Madrimov, but when you get a chance like this, you have to take it." When asked if Canelo would take the fight with Crawford after facing Edgar Berlanga on September 14th, Hearn responded that he believes Canelo would accept any fight if the financial terms are right. He noted that Canelo has no fear of Terence Crawford and is more concerned with the accolades he would receive from a victory. Hearn pointed out that if Canelo wins, it would be seen as defeating a 154 pounder and a 147 pounder who recently moved up in weight, while a loss would be viewed as getting beaten by a 154 pounder. He added that Canelo tends to select opponents based on their styles, preferring those who come forward and engage in a fight. Hearn remarked, "I don't think Canelo likes facing fighters who move. His body is probably not quite what it was. When Jermell Charlo ran off the back foot, Canelo didn't like it or enjoy it. He wants someone that comes to fight. He'll fight anyone. He also in his head has a number that he thinks fights are worth. It's just whether that's realistic." Amid the buzz about a potential Canelo versus Crawford showdown, a recent resurfacing of a prediction from former WBA super lightweight champ Rolando Romero offers intriguing insight into the anticipated clash. The potential showdown between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is shaping up to be one of the defining bouts of our time. In a bold move, Crawford, aiming to cement his legacy as an undisputed champion in 3 weight classes, is eager to secure a major victory over Alvarez, potentially earning a substantial purse before hanging up his gloves. However, the question remains, can Crawford outshine a formidable opponent like Alvarez Alvarez at 168 pounds? Since November 2021, the Mexican boxer has dominated the super middleweight division. Crawford, who has spent most of his career in the welterweight class, faces a formidable challenge in overcoming the significantly larger Canelo Alvarez. This sentiment echoes a remark made by Romero some time ago. Romero predicted confidently, if Terence Crawford moves up to fight Canelo, then it's going to be a worse fight than Jermell Charlo running around against Canelo. I'm going to tell you straight up, Canelo by murder against Crawford. They have weight classes for a reason. Jermell Charlo, the ex-light middleweight champion, made a bold move last year by jumping 2 weight classes to challenge the rising Mexican star. Despite Charlo's undefeated record at the time, Alvarez emerged victorious with relative ease. This result underscored the daunting challenge faced by fighters moving up in weight. Following this, Romero proposed that Crawford might fare better competing at 154 pounds rather than at 168. Yet, it's impossible to overlook the prowess of a fighter like Bud. Throughout his career, he has consistently delivered outstanding performances. With an impressive streak of 11 consecutive knockout victories, Bud's reputation is formidable. Many within the boxing community are confident that he could triumph over the Mexican boxer, despite the differences in their weight classes. Despite Rolly Romero's dire forecast, many boxing enthusiasts are convinced that Terence Crawford is the sole fighter capable of inflicting Canelo Alvarez's 3rd defeat. Crawford's move to light middleweight is seen as a strategic maneuver to bridge the gap between him and Canelo, while some presume that Bud has less chance of winning, 2-division undisputed champion. Claressa Shields believes that the only man that can beat Canelo is Terence Crawford. That's just what I think, and I want to see it. Even though Alvarez is a skilled boxer, WWBC lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson thinks Crawford might defeat him. Furthermore, boxing pundit and coach Teddy Atlas picked Bud over Canelo and said, "It's a tremendous challenge because Canelo is a tremendous fighter and bigger and stronger, and he can punch and time you, but just because you're smaller, Crawford will come up with a game plan that will make the other guy use his size." However, Canelo's lofty demands have thus far thwarted any agreement. Crawford told Matchroom that for whatever reason the fight with Canelo did not materialize, so he had to move forward with his career. He explained that his ultimate goal was to secure the fight with Canelo, but since that didn't happen, he moved on to the next best option. He added, 154 was wide open. I was looking to fight Charlo, he left. So I've got to fight with whoever I could get for a world title. Israil Madrimov is a tremendous fighter. He's 10-0, already a world champion. He's a tough, dangerous fighter. I think it's going to be an exciting fight. Talking about Madrimov, Crawford said that he views him as very strong and describes him as herky-jerky. Crawford noted that Madrimov is elusive, capable of both boxing and brawling, and has the ability to take a punch, which makes for a great fight. He expressed confidence that Madrimov will train hard and that his coaches will prepare him to be at his best. He further added, "As for myself, I've been here before. This is nothing new. I know how to handle things like this. I know how to go about fighting these types of guys that have a lot to prove. Come fight night, I will show the world once and for all, once again, why I'm the best fighter on the planet." Crawford lavished praise on Sheikh Turki Alalshikh, the key figure responsible for securing his bout with Canelo. Alalshikh is a prominent player in Riyadh season, which is making its inaugural appearance in the US this year. He said, "I'm very excited to be headlining His Excellency Turki Alalshikh's first card in the USA. I'm very excited for the first big event coming to America. Being the headliner of the event is a big honor. It's going to be a tremendous event. There's a stacked undercard, and I'm just happy to be a part of it." Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.